to talk to you about cell box boundaries for political investigation of a public person's character. And we're also going to be covering to you the concept of person versus persona and how some political candidates' character may not match what they are speaking about. And it's going to deal with whether or not these candidates will be following these good ethical standards that they talk about, and whether they follow through with these, whether they follow through with what they are proposing to the people. And as for person versus persona, it deals with politicians acting as some sort of character, or are they truly acting as themselves? So when you look at the news, you will see a lot of examples of, like, a lot of people would be saying, okay, what face of Hillary is it going to be this time? What face of Trump is it going to be this time? And that's why, for this video, we will be covering the 2016 primary elections, and we'll be looking at mainly Hillary Clinton and looking at how she is following ethical standards. Like, is she true to her standards? Is she truly for the people? And whether or not she's truly learning, or is she flip-flopping? And these next two scenes will definitely help you get a better glance of what's going on. Whenever you guys are ready.
Welcome back to Channel 69 News. Today you got Frank
and Blake.
And today we're going to open up with some news about Hillary Clinton and the Mcgee incident. Seems as though she keeps on covering up information and withholding information that she has about.
Strange how she seems to be acting differently towards two different people when they're talking about different subjects.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as though she's like the one person that we're all voting for. She's two different people all the time. Another thing that actually just came out, Hillary, breaking news, emails that she's withholding from some of her interviewees. She's withholding a lot of information and not saying everything that she needs to.
It seems like the more the press digs up on her, the more secretive and deceitful she becomes.
Hillary Clinton gave a speech at Wall Street and she refuses to give any of the transcripts of that said speech to anybody. I mean, I don't understand how people could think she's like a trustworthy politician with stuff like that.
It's ridiculous.
In this scene, this is something that we may be or may not think that Hillary may or may not do.
In my years of experience in working Barack Obama's campaign as Secretary of State, I have the experience to run this country, and I know working with Barack Obama, we have passed some bills that would have never been passed before.
And you have experience on passing those bills?
Yes.
Which Hillary are we talking to?
We'll talk about this.
When will you show us the transcripts?
We will talk about this.
How about
in
the
my
indictments?
campaign, we have passed so many bills, you'll blow your mind. You have no idea. We'll talk about this later, okay?
Which Hillary am I even talking to right now?
We'll talk about this later. We can't deal. All right, we need to talk about what this campaign's really about. It's about the people. We need to talk about how banks are too big to fail, about how these corporations are buying political elections and political candidates, and how...
Please, we need just a minute of your time just to talk about Black Lives Will Matter.
Yes, we do.
Go right ahead.
This is such a tragic event in America that's happening, and I'm glad that I have this entire auditorium to talk to. All these
It's so
people.
tragic.
Thank you, Bernie Sanders, for understanding us and allowing us to talk and have a minute of your time.
We have a lot of minutes of time.
So from the following scenes, you can see that there are awfully stark differences between these two political candidates, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders seems very transparent and open for people to speak, whereas Hillary Clinton seems a lot more reserved and definitely doesn't seem as transparent as whenever questions would be brought up, she would say, we would talk about it, without talking about it. And basically, we're trying to justify this using the cell box political investigation of a public person's character. And I think as for the the media investigating Hillary Clinton, I think, is very justified in this situation, given that she has, a very shaky track record, and as mentioned before, she's not very transparent with her Wall Street transcripts and her Wall Street speeches, with Benghazi, with her email servers, and virtually everything else that's been going on that's been brought up in the past. And I think it's just I think that's really justified to investigate someone who may be the president and raise some concerns that could possibly lead to some controversies later on. As for person versus persona, Hillary Clinton definitely does seem to have different personalities given, the hashtag going around, hashtag, which Hillary, because there's definitely a lot of different, she would definitely say a lot of contrasting and different things from time to time that seem to conflict with one another, to sort of ease whatever interviewee's talking with her at the time, which is strategic, but given the use of the internet nowadays, I don't think that's something that works. And basically, we want you to draw the conclusion. This video shows our opinions and what we think about these candidates. What do you think? Do you think that Hillary is truly for the people? Do you think that, these stark personalities, do you think her stark personality keeps her from being a good presidential candidate? At the end of the day, it's up to you to decide. It's up to the American people to decide.